Morning, Bill.
Morning, Walt. How are you?
Okay.
I didn't hear the name. Bill?
This is Bill Ratcliffe.
Oh, Ratcliffe, yes. It's Brenda.
I believe we have Brenda Tremolay, Jack Snyder, Bill Ratcliffe, and Walt Boyle.
Right.
I'm on the teleconference.
Hi, Joan.
Hi.
This is Jack coming. Good to hear from you.
Thank you.
Well, it's 2:00, and we have a goodly number of people with us. So why don't we get started? I'm gonna turn off my TV music so I can hear you. I had two items on the agenda for today: a discussion of the meeting in Washington, D.C., and then hi, Jim.
Hi, good morning.
And the second item was to discuss this idea of developing new members for the board and for the for committee chairs. So let's start with hi, Jared.
Good morning.
I was one of two people. I want to start with the meetings in Washington. I was one of two people that was a little bit disappointed with the fact that we didn't do more in Washington than we did, and I guess that caused some issues. I'm going to have to send a note back to Leading Age about that. Basically, we had a meeting on Saturday in which we discussed the bylaws. I have sent all of you copies of the bylaws as they were changed in that meeting of the board. So that has the latest changes in it, and also the additional documents, which include standard rules and policies and some administrative rules. The only thing that was really approved by the board at that meeting was the bylaws document. The other documents were not reviewed. We just ran out of time. It's my impression that the board wants to proceed and get the bylaws themselves, the bylaws proper, approved by the membership in accordance with the existing bylaws that we have today. Among the major changes in those bylaws is the fact that in the future the bylaws would not be approved by the membership, but would require a two-thirds vote of the board of directors for approval. Now, the reason for that is that as NaCCRA grows, it's going to become more and more cumbersome to try to get information on changes out to all the membership and get all the membership to vote. We realize that we can do that in a similar manner that is done with proxies for various companies when they have to have a vote. But we felt that this was another way of doing it, and so that change was made. There are some other changes in there, but I think that's the biggest one. And I anticipate at the next board meeting there will be an action to move ahead and see if we can get those bylaws approved by the membership so that we can move ahead. A number of other changes were made. Some of them, one of the things that was clarified is that the board of directors is indeed empowered to conduct the business of the organization. The organization has been going on that premise since its very beginning, but that was never fully defined or characterized in the bylaws until this point, and it became an issue of contention this last year. So we wanted to make that perfectly clear, everybody. On the second day, on Sunday, we had a meeting of the membership, and I was somewhat disappointed. I think it's probably because it was in Washington, D.C. The turnout for that meeting was relatively small. In the past, we've had those meetings near CCRCs or at CCRCs, and the turnout has been much larger. We've had turnouts of 70 to 90 people, and I think we only had about 20 people at this meeting. We did, however, get a visit from Katie Smith-Sloan. Her first name, for those who are interested, is Katrinka. She is the new president and CEO of Leading Age, and she is also continuing on, at least for the present, as the CEO of the International Association for Housing and Services, or Homes and Services for the Aging. I think that's the correct name. It's the international version of Leading Age. So she's wearing two hats at the present time. Whether she gives that other hat up now or not, I don't really know. I found her very engaging. She expressed strong interest in working with NaCCRA, and I honestly believe she feels that working with NaCCRA in the future is to the benefit of her organization and to the benefit of NaCCRA. So I look for good things to come out of all of that. I frankly liked her. I thought she was very personable, very open, very, what do I want to say, objective, but, and very candid in everything she said. Jack and Brenda were there, so maybe they have other comments about that. Jack, do you have any?
Sure. I share your belief. I'm very optimistic. I think the meetings were very well done. I don't think it was the location that caused the low attendance. I think it was the fact that the program wasn't developed till the very last minute, and that there was no publicity for the meeting, and so people didn't know when it was, where it was, and didn't get it on their calendars, and just weren't even aware that we were meeting. But I think that for the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area, having that location on the metro, conveniently accessible to everybody, was probably desirable. We certainly had a bigger turnout of people who weren't living in the CCRC where we met than we had when we met in Springfield, Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is Brenda. I think there was a lot of discussion. Bill Ratcliffe, you can comment too. between the members who came, we had people from Virginia and Maryland, and they were talking about the CCRCs that are in the metropolitan area in D.C., and seemed like there was a lot of potential communication and future sharing connectedness going on there. Is that correct?
That is correct. I had an email from the Ingleside at Rock Creek people, who are physically the closest to where we were meeting, saying just a brief note saying they thought it was very well worthwhile being there and that they'd made a number of useful contacts.
Good. And that's kind of what I saw evolving through the meeting. Though, you know, the size was small, it seemed that they were very productive, and maybe the small size contributed to that.
This is Joan from Virginia. I was there, and I like the idea of the metropolitan. But I found the website very difficult to use. Republicity about the meeting, that really needs to be improved for next year. And we might be able to have the meeting here at Goodwin House, which is central.
That's good. I will pass your proposal on to Bob Nicholson, and we'll see what we can do. I want to welcome Margaret to the meeting, and thank you for joining us. I guess she prefers not to speak.